What's up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with a review for Abbott Elementary Season 2, Episode 4, you guys. This episode was titled The Principal's Office, you guys. So before we just jump into this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other on my channel and you guys aren't yet subscribed, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know you can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, giving me a big, huge thumbs up, sharing the video, and once again, thumbsing up the video. And with that out the way, you guys, without further ado, let's discuss Abbott Elementary, shall we? All right, you guys, so this episode, it opens up and we see Barbara. So one of Barbara's students, is his birthday. So the kids are singing happy birthday to him, right? And Barbara is doing this as if these kids are in a choir. And then they sing, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear, whatever his name, whatever the little boy's name is, happy birthday to you. And then Barbara goes the extra mile and asks him, sings, how old are you? And he said, here she goes again. I was like, wait a minute. This is something that Barbara must normally do. So then we see Gregory. So Gregory is teaching, right? So Gregory has this child named Micah. And while Gregory is teaching, so I think Gregory was teaching about condensation for the kids, I guess so. Yeah, like he had some ice, I guess a big ice cube in this jar and it's melted, right? So he's trying to teach the kids about, ice being in a solid form, turning into a liquid form, right? Because of it melting. But the little boy Micah is, not really. I was thinking, now see, what I was thinking was a little bit different than what actually happened. But Gregory couldn't teach it because the little boy kept interrupting him. So Gregory is, upset, right? So then we move over to the teacher's lounge, and there's Janine in the teacher's lounge, right? So Janine is in the teacher's lounge talking about Tariq while she's making her lunch for the day. And I was with Barbara and Melissa like, girl, what the hell is that you're making? So Janine had a little, those noodles that you can put in the microwave and that you can heat up, add water, heat up, right? So then she took the noodles out and she added peanut butter. I was like, what? Okay, Janine, I wasn't expecting that, right? So Barbara and Janine were also very annoyed with her about, just what she was talking about. So then she tells her, well, Jacob says I do sound like a lesbian. I was like, not a lesbian. Really, Jacob? So we find out that Janine's mom never actually taught Janine how to cook. So Melissa says, you know what, come by my house. I'll teach you how to cook. And then Jacob was like, well, can I come by? Because I don't know how to pair the wines together. She was like, come on, both of you guys come on over tonight, right? So let's pause here and let's move forward. So while they're in the teacher's lounge, Gregory is just sitting by himself. So Jacob notices him. He says, can you hand me a package of sugar? So he hands him a package of sugar. He shakes the sugar. He opens the sugar and he just sprinkles like a little bit of sugar in that coffee. I'm like, ooh, there's no difference in that coffee. So Jacob is not Jacob, but actually no, Jacob just says, so, what's going on? Talk to me, bro. He said, try again. He said, okay, what's wrong with you, man? Talk to me. So that's when Gregory told Jacob about Micah being in the class. He's trying to teach the class, but Micah is not paying attention to him. And, Gregory was like, oh, something like that happened to me last week. He says, Aaliyah, whenever she answers something correctly, she'll hit me with, I'm on your ass, Mr. C. And Gregory was like, you still letting them call you Mr. C? He says it's in love. Gregory looked at the camera and said, it is, Gregory. Don't be like that. They like Mr. C. So Jacob says that what he's done is he sent Aaliyah to the principal's office. He was like, the principal's office, as in Ava? That Ava, the Ava that just came in here, that was turning it, that so she turned the TV because no, she said, "Don't nobody want to hear about no damn earthquake." And Barbara was like, "You better put that TV right back where you got it from, or there's gonna be another natural disaster." I was like, you know not to mess with Barbara, so let's keep it at that. So then we see Janine and Jacob. So Janine and Jacob made it over to Melissa's house, right? So they knocked at the door, and she was like, "You guys brought the ops," talking about the camera crew. I was like, "Not the ops, not the camera crew, are the ops." So they get in the house, and Janine is looking at this. So I guess she was supposed to bring a onion over, a red onion over with her. And Melissa was like, "What the hell is this?" And they were like, "It's okay." She's like, "No," because her sister tried to make one of her grandmother's famous recipes, and she substituted a potato, and they have a vendetta against the sister. So Jacob is like, "You know what? I'll just go down there and I'll go get another one." She says, "You better not come back with a damn white onion, Jacob." So Jacob says, when you go to the store, you know how, because he loves to go to the store, because I guess Jacob considers himself someone who likes to barter, but I'm like, Jacob, when you go to the grocery store, the way it sounded like to me when Jacob goes to the market or anything like that, it sounds like he is in a bidding war, because he says, you know how they say, you know how people upsell things? Well, I'm an up buyer. I was like, an up buyer. So that means you're paying more for something that you didn't have to, Jacob. Love Jacob, but what the hell, Jacob? What? He up buys things? So, yeah, Janine is still there. So she's talking to Melissa about her sister. Melissa keeps, with the blender, and she was like, "I thought you would get the hint," because she did it twice. And she's like, Janine said, "That's really loud." She said, "I thought she would get the hint," but obviously you didn't. Keep going. So Janine is telling her about her sister. And earlier in the episode, Mr. Johnson was like, "I didn't even know everybody's turning up with sisters." So Janine is talking about her sister, how her sister moved to be away from her mother, but she actually misses her sister. Well, Janine, this is a little bit of projection, sweetie. Call your sister. That's all I gotta say is call your sister. So let's pause here and let's move forward. So we're at the next day, we're at school. So Janine and Jacob were talking, and I looked at Janine and I said, "Janine, please don't do what I think you're gonna do." Janine said, "I'm gonna do it." "Oh, I'm like, "I know you are, but I would really preference you not to do it." This is Melissa we're talking about. She says, "Nope, it's fine." I'm like, "Oh, okay, if you say so." So she's telling Jacob, I'm like, "Why are we getting advice?" No, no, not Jacob. You know somebody that they didn't show this week's episode? Ashley. Ashley. Oh my God, I'm ready. I'm just ready to see. I think Melissa is gonna run Ashley away when we finally get to know Ashley. But so Janine has this plan that she wants to get Melissa and her sister together. I was like, these are two Italian women. No, leave it alone, Janine. Leave it be, because she wants Janine and her sister to mend their relationship. I get it, girl, but mind your business. Mind your mind. So we see Gregory. So Gregory is in class, and once again, he's trying to teach. And Micah is disrupting class. Because Micah is obsessed with, now I don't know if it's something like Blues. I don't know if this is even a real character, but it kind of gives me like a Blues Clues feel. I could be wrong. So Gregory says, "Okay, Micah, warning." So he didn't take that warning. So he says, "Okay, we're going to the principal's office." I was like, "You're going to Ava's office? What do you expect Ava to do?" No shade to Ava, but what do you expect Ava to do? So Gregory went by Janine's door and asked Janine if she could watch his class while he takes Micah to Ava's office. And she was like, "Do you think that that's the best idea?" He was like, "Yeah." So Mr. Johnson said, "Oh, y'all arguing?" And she said, "I'll watch your class." So then Gregory took little Micah to Ava's office, and he went back to class. Ava brought Micah back down to class with a lollipop, right? And Greg was like, what was the purpose of me bringing him to you? Exactly. So Gregory asked him, don't you want to apologize? He says, nope, not really. I was like, well, damn, Gregory, he told you, didn't he? You got sunned by a little kid. But I mean, I agree with what Ava said. Like, if he doesn't, what you want him to do? Lie? No, we don't do that. I was on the Ava side at that point. So let's pause here and move forward. So we see Gregory. So Gregory is talking to Melissa, Jacob, Janine, and Barbara about sending Micah to Ava's office, but instead he came back with a lollipop. He asked him for it, and he spit it in his hand. I'm like, well, Gregory, what do you expect? I'm sorry. If you ask me for something that's in my mouth, I'm gonna spit it. I'm gonna put it. There you go. You wanted it. Here it is, right? So he's upset because Ava didn't discipline Micah, and Jacob says you don't send the kids to Ava for discipline. What you do is you send that one child out, so that way you can get order back in your classroom, right? So while they're in the teacher's lounge, so Janine and Jacob, I guess, had made some spaghetti with Melissa, right? And Janine is trying to get everybody to try the spaghetti. Now, at one point, Janine put the spaghetti in her mouth and she said, I don't know if it was too hot or if it was just nasty. I'm going to go with the latter, that it was nasty. Poor Janine. So then we see Gregory. So Gregory is asking Jacob to talk to Ava, basically to tell Ava to do her job because, Barbara is the only person that can get through to Ava to do her job, right? So then on the intercom, Ava calls Mr. Eddie to her office, right? So she said, I heard you've been going around talking about me, my principling skills, right? So Ava actually made a really valid point. I don't know how many times you'll hear you can hear me say that Ava made a valid point, but Ava literally made a valid point because Jacob, not Jacob, but Gregory is still upset that she didn't, discipline Micah. She made a valid point, but then she lost me at a certain point because she was like, because he was like, you embarrassed me bringing me to this office. She says, well, how do you think a 6-year-old feels walking, making that walk of shame to my office, and then they come in here crying? So you want me to discipline them and then have to sit there and listen to that crying while I'm trying to watch Below Deck? I was like, oh my God, Ava. So the only reason why you don't want to discipline the crying child is because you're watching Below Deck. Okay, Ava, you made a point, but then you kind of just lost me at a certain point. But I get it. I got what she was saying, minus the Below Deck. How would you put yourself in this child's shoes? You're sending this child to my office, and I'll be honest. I've been to the principal. Oh God, the first time I ever went to the principal's office, I was in the third grade, you guys. I was in the third grade. My teacher was very high strung. My teacher was, when I told you guys she was high strung, because she eventually, I think, about 2 years after I was in her class, she eventually retired because she was stressed out. I don't know what was going on in her real life, but she eventually did retire. But she sent me to the principal's office, almost similar to what happened with Micah. Now, I didn't interrupt her during class. What the issue always was with my teacher was that I'm a talker. I've always been a talker in school. That's always been, if I ever got sent to the principal's office, is because I talked a lot during class. So that was the first time that I ever got sent to the principal's office in the third grade. And I remember that feeling. Of intimidation. It really was intimidation. I didn't cry. It was just pretty much intimidation. And I was just like, why am I getting sent to the principal's office? Like, I had never been sent to the principal's office. So I got where Ava was coming from. I really truly understood it. And the thing was, with my teacher, because I think she would send us to the principal's office, but she would make sure that she would have someone else walk with us. So she would go she wouldn't go because she didn't want to leave the class. sometimes she would, sometimes she wouldn't. Most times she would send another student with us to the office, and I'm just like, okay, lady, you're doing a lot. Then it, I forgot what age it was. It might have been middle school or high school, where yep, no, it was definitely high school, where they would send me to the principal's office, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna go. They would send one of my friends. I'm like, girl, give me that goddamn, give me that, and I'd rip it up. And they would say, did you go to the office? I'm like, mm-hmm. They were like, what happened? Absolutely nothing. I just sat there, never went. But let's pause here, you guys, and let's move forward. Actually, let's pause here and wrap up the episode. All right, you guys. So, remember, Janine. Janine has a plan for Melissa and her sister. So, Janine decided that she wanted to make one of their family's recipes and drop it off at her sister's school. So, when she did that, the sister came over to Melissa's home. She asked her, are you trying to poison me? And they both insulted Janine, so she's like, that kind of hurt. That too. So then we see Gregory. So Gregory is with Mr. Johnson, and Gregory is trying to learn how to become more stern. I was like, Gregory, just lowering your voice doesn't scare anybody, but hey. So Barbara came in and told him, do you want to be feared or do you want to be respected by your students? I was like, hey, that is a good one. That is a good one. So then we see Melissa. Melissa is stomping through the hallways, and Ava's like, she's mad because her knees ain't bending. I was like, her knees ain't bending, and Janine's like, no, she's not mad. She's like, Janine, Ava was like, you saying learning how to read body language, huh? Because yours is so short. I said, Ava. Gotta love Ava, right? So Janine and Melissa are talking. Janine apologized to Melissa for interfering. And Melissa was like, the issue with her sister, it was never about the food that she messed up. It was about the grandmother. When the grandmother was, exiting this earth, she couldn't really take it. So she left Melissa to deal with the grandmother alone. And then, they had another conversation. So Melissa told, Janine, you know what, Janine? You want to learn how to cook? Come over to my house, but no Jacob. And Jacob talking to the camera says, I wasn't invited. Yeah, no Jacob. We like you, Jacob, but no, we're good. So then we see Gregory. So Gregory is once again teaching, and once again Micah is, interrupting class. So Gregory has come up with the bright idea. So his board, he flips it, and it has the character that Micah loves, and that is what is able to stop Micah from interrupting the class. I was like, When I first saw this episode, I was wondering if he had a learning disability. But it's not really a learning disability. It's, I guess you could say it's kind of is a learning disability, but not really. It's a learning it might be easier for him to that's interesting. I'm trying to figure out how I want to say it. Take something that he loves and he's familiar with, and I guess you incorporate it into the learning plan and the lesson. I guess that's ultimately what happened, and it was cool. I liked it. I liked him. So Gregory is leaving, for the day, and Ava was like, you can come to my office and say hi to me anytime. And Gregory says I would have to be high in order to do that. So him and Barbara high five each other. And so he has to drop off something to her office. And she's like, you're not talking to Principal Ava anymore. You're talking to regular Ava. And you can talk to me tomorrow about that. So Gregory went to her office and left whatever it was for her. And then, he sits in her desk. I'm like, Gregory, I still don't think you should be a principal. I think you're semi-good as a teacher. But a principal, I don't really know about that. But that is Abbott Elementary, you guys. I know that there was another scene with Melissa, but Melissa was just talking about she and her sister, and that one picture where she punched her sister in the face. I was hollering. But that's it, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode of Abbott Elementary. Great episode. Subscribe to the channel, you guys. Turn on your post notifications. Share the video. And leave a big huge thumbs up and leave your comments. And I'll see you guys again later. Bye guys. Take care of yourselves. Did I say that? If I didn't, we're gonna say it again. Take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands, wear a mask, social distance, be blessed, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Now I know I said it this time. I don't know if I said it the first time, but I said it this time, and I'll see you guys later.